We cannot start a video without the star of the channel. Doesn't it feel like we have a new plugin every single day? And what's more, from those new plugins, we have another new reverb, another new delay, a new emulation of the 1176 or the Pultec, each one promising the most authentic replication yet and whatnot. So it's not rare that sometimes we feel plugin fatigue. I mean, for instance, let's check out the front page of KVR forum. We have another analog emulation, another tube compressor, yet another Excite audio instrument, which frankly they are almost all the same, with different sounds of course. And even a free reverb. Let me go to products so we can check other stuff. We have a transient shaper, a bundle of simple effects, another compressor, distortion, and so on. But don't get me wrong, most of these developers are independent, and I find that's great to have more independent developers. I mean, I love that so many people are creating new plugins with their own unique vision. And better yet, there are tons of new free plugins too, so you don't have to waste money to have amazing tools. On the other side, that doesn't take away from that feeling of overwhelming saturation on the plugin environment. There's always the question, how many compressors do you really need? How many EQs? How many tape emulations? How many delays and whatnot? And sometimes the answer is you just need one, or maybe two. For instance, I have almost all TDR plugins, and I feel that with only those I should be set. Nova is an excellent dynamic EQ, Slick EQ is an excellent analog style EQ, we have Kotelnikov, which is one of the best compressors ever, Molot, which is an analog compressor, and the Limiter 6, which is my favorite limiter. They have free versions and the paid versions are very cheap. But still, I have other plugins that I like to use. Now, you may think that, okay, I'm a YouTuber that makes a lot of reviews and many of those reviews are day one type of reviews. So maybe that makes me a little bit hypocritical to think about plugin saturation and plugin fatigue. And maybe, I don't know, I really think not. Especially because of my next point. The overwhelming amount of plugins actually makes me appreciate more the most innovative ones. But the thing is, innovative doesn't mean groundbreaking Sooth 2 type of innovation. It can be a regular type of effect with a twist or with a different architecture that makes it more unique. For example, Haze by Lunacy Audio, which, by the way, it's completely free. This is what happens when you take a chorus, but you concentrate on other parameters rather than only the classic chorusy effect. You get a smeared type of delay reverb that's washed out with a lot of modulation that can get very crazy. And that's why I like it. That's the reason why, different from other YouTubers, I don't make weekly videos about the latest plugins and the latest free plugins, because I rather wait for innovative ones to then make a list or a dedicated video about it. Honestly, with all the respect I have for my colleagues here in YouTube, I find a little bit boring to see so many things about new plugins that sometimes are really not interesting. The same goes for day one type of reviews. I always try to choose plugins that I know that can offer something more, something different. Something, for instance, Neon, which is not just a reverb, is a resonance chain of recursive type of sound making. So as long as there are excellent developers with unique ideas, honestly, I can forget about the plugin fatigue, because I know that there's a bunch of plugins that is always great to have, or there are a bunch of developers that I'm looking forward for what they're going to make next. Now, of course, a big part on this plugin fatigue feeling has to do with marketing and us YouTubers. When you go to YouTube, you get tons of videos about the latest new plugins and plugin news, and of course, I'm also guilty of that. But then again, you click on a video and you get an ad from Waves, for instance. and they are promising you that the latest plugin is the most groundbreaking one and you cannot skip that. So of course, if you feel that you don't need it or you don't like that company, you have a negative feeling towards that ad. Now, of course, it's not always about marketing. Content creators will make videos about new plugins because that attract new viewers. And I do the same. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, it's YouTube. That's how it works. And that's why I don't follow many plugin news channels. I have enough with myself. But to be honest, I prefer to see plugins that are innovative, or, this is also valid, plugins from developers that I have a sweet spot on my heart. And that's the thing. I mean, you most likely already have your favorite developer, so my advice is that you stick to them, especially if they create the plugins that you need. For instance, if you already have Universal Audio plugins, you won't need to check the competition, unless the competition is making something that UAD is not making. Or maybe you have IK Multimedia or Pulsar Audio or Slate Digital and so on and so on. You don't need to have each one of the Pultec emulations just because they have a tiny little bit of difference. Just stick to the one that you are used to. The same for synthesizers, for effects, and whatever else. So in a way, plugin fatigue is how we react to the plugin world. And it's not something that's going to stop externally. What I mean with that is follow creators that you trust and don't follow each of the plugin news channel. Stick to your favorite developers, and of course, don't be afraid of experimenting with new plugins if you feel they are offering something that's more unique. The most important thing, of course, is that you make music or create sounds. So in conclusion, yes, there's a ton of plugins and we have new plugins every day, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It will be a problem if every developer will start creating the same effect over and over and again, or if they offer yet another chorus without any type of unique theme. So my final advice is that if there's a new plugin, even if it's free, and you see that's just a plain reverb, ask yourself what it's offering that's different from the reverb that I already have. And the same with other types of plugins, instruments, effects, and so on. But of course, I want to know your opinions about this topic down in the comments. Do you feel plugin fatigue? Do you want to stick only to the things that you already have, or do you get excited each time a new plugin arrives? I will be happy to respond to your comments. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time, and bye bye.